Hello, I'm Wendy Weiger, and welcome to Word from the Woods. I am a woman living alone, off the grid, deep in the Maine woods. I am going to be sharing my experiences as I progress through my second full winter here at the cabin. This is my second posting. I gave a brief intro last time and promised I would tell you more, or show you more too, about the inside and outside of my cabin. So today I'm just going to walk you around a brief outside tour. You see my cabin in front of you. I mentioned before that inside it's 14 feet across, 21 feet deep. And you see the satellite dish over the door. We talked about that last time, and that's what allows me to communicate with you. I am going to walk up the path to my front porch. I am very inexperienced in video, so bear with me. This is going to be rough. You see my coolers here where I keep my food. I don't have a refrigerator. It stays cold enough through the winter here that I'm fine without ice in the cooler in general. And in fact, things freeze that shouldn't, like salad greens. This winter, when the snow gets deep enough, I'm going to try burying a cooler under the snow to see if I can keep foods that shouldn't freeze from freezing. But we haven't got to that stage yet. We only have just a dusting of snow on the ground. Little unusual not to have more now in mid-December. Our climate is changing up here, but at any rate, in time, the snows will come. And here you see a pile of cedar kindling given to me by a friend. I'm going to split that and use it to get my fires going in the morning in the wood stove. And my little generator. I have only very limited electricity here. I use it only to power the satellite dish, charge my laptop, phone, and other small electronics. Wish I didn't need it at all, but it is not safe for me to be here alone all winter by myself, especially after the road closes and it's a 3 to 4.5 mile snowshoe out to get to my car. It's not safe to be here alone unless I have some means of communication with the outside world. So this little suitcase generator, as it's called, doesn't use a whole lot of gasoline. I made it through the whole winter last year using about 3 tankfuls of gas for my car would be the equivalent. And I run it as little as possible. There are a couple of tanks of gas. My ash bucket, a double-walled on the bottom metal bucket that I put ashes in and clamp the lid on tightly so that there is no chance that a live ember in the ashes will set my cabin on fire. Okay, so we are going to go off the porch, and I told you I have very limited electricity, so what do I do for lights and cooking and heat? And I will show you. Here are propane tanks, and these propane tanks are connected to the inside of the cabin by copper tubing. I have 4 propane lights and a propane cook stove. It's small, but basically looks like a smaller version of what you'd have in an on-the-grid house. It has 4 little burners and a small oven, and I'll show you that when I give you an inside tour of the cabin. Now I am going to take you around and show you my wood pile that I use to feed my wood stove over the winter. So bear with me as I walk along, but all of this gives you a little bit of a glimpse into the woods here. And here is my woodshed. It's a portable woodshed, basically a glorified tent. And I got 3.5 cords of wood to see me through the winter. Not quite all of it fit in here. I have a couple of ancillary piles nearby under tarps. And I have some extra cans of gasoline there as well. Now I'm going to walk you up the path to the next really necessary component of life in the woods, which is my outhouse. I do not have running water. So, and you may catch a glimpse here as we walk along. Yeah, there it is, my Subaru. So for now, I can actually drive in over rough gravel roads into the woods, into my cabin. So at any point that may change. The roads are not plowed into the cabin. And once the snow gets deep enough, I think I already mentioned it, it'll be a 3 to 4.5 mile snowshoe out to where I can park my car. Again, a little unusual to have the roads drivable in mid-December, but the climate is trending warmer up here as it is in most places around the world. Now this is my outhouse, and so it's a very nicely built little house. I will show you inside. I hope there's enough light. Yes, there is the necessary appliance, the toilet. The outhouse sits over a sealed tank, and from time to time I will need to have that tank pumped out. So far haven't needed to have that done. And I'm going to walk you up to the other very necessary component in my life here, which is my pump. Again, don't have running water, and so I need to pump water by hand and haul it into the cabin. I would have liked to have had the pump a little closer to the cabin, but the well drilling equipment is very heavy. And about 300 feet from the cabin is as close as the well drilling equipment could come. So we are about to head up to the pump. Here we go. And there it is. This is what I call a high-tech, low-tech. It is a pump that drains back below the frost line. And so that means the water never freezes. So it can be 20 below zero, and with a few strokes of the pump, I get liquid water flowing, no need to prime the pump. And I pump the water into pails. Those are stainless steel milking pails. Hard to find large pails that are safe for things that you're going to actually consume internally. Because often big pails like that are used for cleaning the floor. They may have lead solder, or they're just plastic, and who knows what chemicals might leach into my drinking water. But at any rate, I was able to find stainless steel milking pails from a company out in the Midwest that caters to the Amish. And so I pumped the buckets full of water, and together they weigh close to 50 pounds, and haul them back to my cabin. And I'll be showing you more details about how that works in future installments. But those are the basics. That's how I get lights, how I cook, how I heat my cabin, how I communicate with the outside world, how I relieve myself, and how I get my water. So that'll be all for today, but stay tuned for future installments of Word from the Woods.